bosses and Pets Plus readers, how are you tonight? How are you? I see that you've already been chatting away with us in the chat. I love it. Hi, Adrian. Nice to see you tonight. And Jay, good evening. Hazel is with us from Virginia. And Keith is with us. And Rob. Awesome. We've got lots of people tuning in tonight for our Pets Plus Live Beyond the Pages of the Magazine. Today, we are focusing on the October issue. Look at this adorable pug. I kind of think that this cover may have been like slightly controversial. Like there's no puppy face showing. But in fact, everyone really loved it. It's so artistic. I just love it. But this is the cover of the October issue of Pets Plus Magazine. And that's why you guys are all here, is you're here because every single month, I interview the cool store that is featured in the magazine. And I'm Candace Doniolo from Pet Boss Nation. Pet Boss Nation is a coaching and consulting community helping bring profits to small business owners, whether you're an independent retailer or an independent brand. And I work closely with Pets Plus as a regular columnist, and I do these shows for them. And the shows are really giving you, the readers, a chance to go beyond the pages to ask questions of our featured cool store, or if you were to tune in to one of our other Pets Plus seminars that we do, it's sometimes based off the article that I write, and it's sometimes based off of the other people's articles. So tonight, we've got Lisa and Ben, and they're from the Modern Paws in Tampa, Florida. Now, we're going to get to them in just a second because I want to know what you guys want to learn about from them tonight. There's a chat over on the side. If you're watching live, you can chat directly with us the whole time. And so chat inside. If you've read the article, you can go to petsplusmag.com to see the article. Just search the Modern Paws and it'll pop up. But you can go there to get to find out more about them and this article in the magazine. But you can type your questions directly in the chat. Now, let me give you a little bit more background on them, first of all, okay? They are a husband and wife couple who bring their Midwestern charm. I'm in the Midwest too. That's why I love these guys. They're both from Chicago and Michigan. So they bring their Midwestern charm and friendliness to the Channel District of Tampa, Florida, okay? Where I guess in Tampa, you can catch all kinds of celebrity sightings, wild dolphin cruises, and maritime oddities. That sounds like fun to go there. So among, their own fun in the sun, though, they found that the more healthy, they also realized that their pets needed that same kind of nutritious diet and exercise, and they needed to provide that to them as pet parents. And so what better way than to just get started in the pet industry? Now, they started in 2014 as an e-commerce site out of their home. And then just a year later, they wanted to get a taste of what it was like to have a brick and mortar space. And so they went in to about 200 square feet inside a local grocery store. And then just in less than a year ago, they fully committed and they went into about a 1,600 square foot space, fully their own, where they offer dog and cat food and supplies, local delivery, self-washes, and grooming. So I'm excited to introduce you to them. So Lisa and Ben, why don't you come on so we can get to know you better and figure out why you're the coolest store. We want to learn more. All right, welcome.
Hi. How's it going?
Good, it's going good. I'm so glad you're with us tonight.
Thank you. We're delighted to be on here and talk to everybody else, out there. It's something that we love, obviously. I feel like a lot of us get into this business because we have a passion for it. So so it's good to be able to get in front of some of these other stores and industry leaders.
Yeah, I love it. We've got a lot of people tuning in live tonight. And if you guys are catching a replay, you can always comment in the comments below and we'll follow up with you guys. But so I want to know, let's first talk about how you met, and how long ago you got married and when you got your first dog, because I was on your website, Modern Paws, and it seems like, the dog kind of brought you guys together, or I don't know, Ben, I think you got Lisa the dog. So tell me how the love affair unfolded around dogs, and now you're doing the business together too.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, we've been together since high school. So we've been together for
A
18
very long
years.
time.
We've been together for 18 and been married for 12. So, it's been a long time. A lot of people are like, well, how old are you then? If that's the case. But, so we've been together since high school days. And, Lisa has always huge animal lover, from, frogs all the way up to obviously any sort of animal out there. So, I think it was our 3 year anniversary was when I got her our very oldest dog. She's 15 now at this point. She's a little Jack Russell Chihuahua.
Super vicious.
Yeah, the meanest thing out there, but we love her to death, obviously. But yeah, so that's kind of how it all started was with her, and we now have a total of 3 dogs.
Okay.
We had another one that fell into our lap, our chocolate lab pointer mix, and she's about 12 now, and then we have a youngest one that's about 4 now. But they're really the reason why we got into this. Our middle one specifically, she developed seizures. Unfortunately, she had a reaction to some flea tick and heartworm medication, and since then we've basically been trying to figure out how to treat it naturally. So been toying with her diet and whatnot, and that's kind of how we really started up the Modern Paws. We're like, I feel like most pet owners out there, you want the best for them, but you don't always know what's the best for them, and just from our own research with our own dogs, we feel we have a pretty good stand on that at this point. So we just want to be able to help others out there. It's just been it's nice to get feedback from customers that come through with dogs that have issues, and they, after seeing us trying out some different products, they're able to have a thriving dog now.
So Lisa, was this your idea to start the store online, or?
It was. So again, I've always, from when I can remember, I've always loved animals. I always knew that I wanted to help out animals in a way, and I always thought I was going to be a veterinarian. And I actually interned at a vet, and I realized that it was a lot tougher than I had expected. And it was a lot of sadness, the euthanasia, having to euthanize animals and things like that. And then I just started realizing that wasn't the approach that I wanted to go. So instead, I didn't know what I wanted to do after that. And I stumbled across, my dog that was having seizures and kind of feeling helpless and not knowing what to do with her, and doing extensive research on what would help her and just experimenting on what might help her. And ever since then, we were just trying to figure out what would work for her. And it kind of just became a huge passion once we realized that the power of food, and for her, it's CBD oil and food that were actually helping her seizures and things like that. It's been amazing. So we kind of felt like we needed to help out the community too, and just start realizing that nutrition is a big part of our lives as well as our pets' life, and just educating people. That was the biggest thing for me. And I brought up the idea to Ben. And we were actually going to the gym because, at the time we were really huge health freaks. And so we were constantly going to the gym. We were eating healthy, and we were like, why aren't we doing this for our own dog? So we really started getting into the habit of doing that. And the more and more we researched about it and the healthier that our pets became, it was quite evident that we were onto something. And we moved to this area about 7 or 8 years ago. And at the time, there was nothing here. It was very plain. It was right after the recession, so a lot of stuff was not there. A lot of stuff was being affected. So because of that, we kind of scoured around the area, and we were like, this would be a really neat space to have this, because there's so many animals out here. We can help people. We can help the animals, and let's see how it goes. And that's kind of where it started.
Okay. Did you always want to have a storefront, or were you more like you had the realization after having the online store that you could help dogs locally?
We did. So we just basically, obviously, just like any other store owner knows, the investment involved with opening a brick and mortar store. It's huge. So, and obviously, most of the time, like even in our case, we didn't have a big, savings where we could just pull all this money out of to open up a new store. So, we decided to take approach it slowly. The cheapest way to get a business started obviously is e-commerce. You don't have the overhead that you need that you would normally do with a normal storefront. So we did that for a full year, and it's funny because it's not one of those things. If you build it, they will come, because it really doesn't. Just because you have a website doesn't mean that people are going to be purchasing.
I love that. So, you need an ad strategy and an ad budget, and you need really good deals on your. There's a lot.
Yeah, you're obviously competing with the larger companies that have millions of dollars for marketing. So what we ended up doing, because of having the e-commerce side of the business, we just went to any sort of pop-up event we could do, farmers markets, different apartment complexes that were doing like vendor, like markets, things like that, and just get their name out there. So that's basically what we did for the very first year. It was tough. It was really, really rough. My background was actually the automotive industry, and I was in it for about 15 years. And I just told her, I was just like, I'm done. I'm done with it. Like, we need to do something else for ourselves. So that's kind of how we started up the e-commerce side of it. And like I said, we did that for a full year. Things were extremely rough at that point, but walked through it.
Adrian's asking a question about if e-commerce customers were local and did you migrate them to your brick and mortar, but I don't know. I mean, I know I had a very similar situation where like I went online first. Now this is in 2006. But then I did pop-up events too, because I had all that. And at the time you couldn't drop ship. Maybe you could, but I didn't know who they were. And so I bought all the inventory and it was in my house, and I'm thinking I'm going to go do these events. So, and for me, like, I mean, even though I had an online store and started that way, like we didn't really have any customers, so where you say it was rough, but did you have e-commerce customers that were local? And then
that's exactly it. So we focus mainly just on our local area of Tampa Bay. Basically all our inventory was sitting in our dining room, and we were literally just pull it from there. I would throw it in the car and I would drive it right over to people. So,
you did like local delivery back then.
That's exactly it. I went to the warehouses to pick up the orders, and then I had it stored at the house. And
So then you transitioned to having subleasing a smaller space before getting the big space. Was that to test it, or what? Does that to save some money? Like, why did you do that?
Well, so we were actually approached by the owner of this little urban grocery store, and the area that we're in is very pet friendly. It's a downtown environment, so very urban. However, rent down here is extremely high, and then because everything is newer, you would have to do a full build out. So there's really nothing that you would be able to just move right into it. So what we ended up doing, since we were approached by the store owner, she already knew that we eventually wanted our own store. However, she's like, this is kind of a good stepping stone, and we felt it was good because obviously, back to it again, we didn't really have a large financial savings to just pull money from to do a full build out. So we just had to take it slowly. After basically about a year of subleasing the space out of the grocery store, we had enough. We had saved enough money where we were able to prove that this is a valid concept in this area. You know, it was enough to show the banks that, hey, we're actually, you know, we're very successful at doing this out of a 200 square foot space.
Yeah.
Yeah, things just kind of progressed from there, and we're obviously able to, at this point, we built our full store. It's just shy of 1,700 square feet. We now also offer grooming and self dog wash as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we still, of course, offer the e-commerce side of the business. And as far as like migrating the e-commerce customers, the local e-commerce customers to the store, we have some that have converted over to the store. But to be honest, majority of our e-commerce customers,
they just want to stay there.
They love the local delivery. We try to do different events here at the store to draw them in as well too. But there's different areas of Tampa where people they prefer not to drive anywhere. So we get it. So we provide that delivery service.
Yeah, well, that's a great segue. Let's talk about your delivery service. I know that is a hot topic in the pet industry for independents right now. And a lot of times, they maybe get started with their own vehicle or purchase a vehicle and wrap it, and then I think there's some fear around and questions around, should it be free or not free? What are the minimums? How frequently should you deliver? So tell us about your current delivery process and if it started that way or how you got there, what other ideas you thought about with it. Just spill all the beans. Tell us what you do.
So we started as e-commerce. So we had this local delivery since the beginning. So we did free local delivery over $35. You get free local delivery. Otherwise, it was $4.95 if you were under that. And at first, we expanded to 3 different counties. So we have our county, and then we have surrounding counties. What we realized, though, is that you actually want to stick to more of something that's closer. Grow that, and then if you need to expand, you can go from there. But starting off small is always the way to go. Because
what's the mile radius of your county about, and then approximately? What do you think?
I would probably say so. Currently, we now just do the one single county that we're actually in, and that's, I would say, probably about 10 to 15 miles.
Yep.
Which is still a fairly decent amount because, it's like 15-mile radius from our actual store. So, there's days where, we have a delivery on, one side of the county versus the other. So, it's still, our driver spends a decent amount of time on the road sometimes.
Nice. So you have a driver. It's not just you guys running and doing all that.
So it's still, there are times that it's still me driving. Like today, actually, that was myself. Yeah. But yeah, we do have a couple employees now to help. We still keep it pretty a small staff here. But it sometimes is still me driving.
Yeah. So have you found that with that $35 order minimum, that what's your average order though? Like, even though you're giving it away for free at $35, do people just do the $35 or are they spending more?
They're definitely spending more. Honestly, we've talked about raising it. However, I would probably say about 90% of our orders are well over that. They're double that to sometimes, double to triple that amount already. So, we don't really run into that issue all too much. And typically, there's orders every day that we're doing. So just to have one might be like, $40. It doesn't really hurt us too much because our driver's already out doing the delivery.
Yeah. So Rob has a great question here. He wants to know what the cutoff time is to do the delivery. So, and we've got some private clients that we've been working one-on-one with about how to figure this out. And so at what time do orders need to be in for you?
So for us, we cut off at 11 a.m. So you can order before 11 a.m. and you'll get it same day. Otherwise, you'll get it the next day. We do Monday through Friday. We cut off the weekends. We used to do the weekends, but we just figured it was way too much, and the weekends are pretty much for us. So because of that, we cut off the weekends. So it's just Monday through Friday, and you have to order before 11 to get same day.
Okay. And do you get any objections to that? Did everyone know that those were the rules?
No,
Not at all. Like, people are still very grateful for even having the local delivery.
Yeah, and even when we first started doing it, our cutoff was literally like 3 p.m. And even for our customers that have stuck with us since the very, very beginning, we've scaled it back to Monday through Friday, and then even scaled it back to just Hillsborough County, our current county that we're in, and then moved the cutoff time to 11. There really has not been any complaints. We've been, our customers have been awesome for it. So yeah, it's.
Well, I've got one more question about the delivery, and then I'd love to move on to another topic. But Rob's also curious, do you notice any day that's busier than others?
Fridays definitely tend to be busy, and then also Mondays. So Fridays, I just feel like it's probably just because everybody wants to get their order in before the weekend. And then Monday is because the people they're carrying over from the weekend.
They do all their own shopping on Sundays and forget. That makes sense. So one of the other things that's mentioned in the article is how you've gotten really connected in the community. And you already mentioned that you would do these pop-up events and different events. But it seems like just in the marketing that we've done to promote this concept of these pods and working out of a pod is really intriguing to people. Yeah. So tell us more about your community involvement and then this pod specifically.
So because we have lived here for so long, we know our community, we've created friends before we even opened the store. They helped out a ton. It was just organic relationships that we grew as a friendship, and it's grown to be this amazing thing. So for us, community is the biggest thing. I don't think we would be where we are today without it. It's very important to, I think, in any industry that you're in, to have community outreach, because your customers are everything and your community is everything. So reaching out, and they will always have your back, which is amazing. Again, we have grown so much in a young business, and I think that was a lot of the reason why.
Yeah, a lot of people actually, they could be your customer, but you build such a great relationship with some of these people that they've really become your friends. And anybody that that's a good friend, you try to make them succeed. So we look at all of our customers as, we try to, every time somebody walks in the door, we try to build a relationship out of it, and it's not a sale relationship. It's just, we want to actually get to know them, be a friend of theirs, and we get it. Sometimes there's going to be products that we might not sell, or something that we, don't always, it wouldn't fit our criteria of what we sell here. But at the end of the day, we still try to build a relationship with these people, and, just make a friendship out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I fully believe in that too. At Pet Boss Nation, and I know Pets Plus does it too. We're building communities of pet professionals. Yeah. And even in my own local pet businesses, being involved in, well, for us, it was the Chamber of Commerce, or in the Merchant District Group. Different dog rescues, or, I mean, I don't have children, but if I was involved I'd be involved in the kids activities too, all that support your local community, because you also mentioned that it's about connection. And you said something in the article on the connection piece. And I that's just such an important point, is that connection will eventually equal currency in some form, whether it's from them specifically or just their word of mouth to other people on how you've treated them and connected to them, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about these pods. What's this pod?
So every year we do this pop-up event. It's called the Winter Village here in downtown Tampa. It's sponsored by the Pod Moving Company. Where
they sponsor it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's actually sponsored by them. But the city of Tampa, they set up an ice skating rink, which is actually real ice in Florida. And it's kind of amazing that they're able to do that, to make it ice when it's 70, 80 degrees out in the winter. But they choose the city of Tampa, basically the downtown partnership is what it's called. It's kind of, think of it as the Chamber of Commerce here. They select a certain amount of small businesses locally that they feel, represent the city well. So we've been lucky enough to be chosen these past few years, and we just work out of a 8x8 moving pod, and we load it up with slat wall and bring product in there. At the end of the night, we just roll down the gate and then lock it up. And it goes on basically from middle of November till the end of until Christmas. So it's another avenue of us reaching out to sometimes, to people out in the suburbs that don't necessarily frequent downtown areas, but they'll frequent it they'll come check it out for, the ice skating rink with their family and so forth. So,
yeah. Do you then have, because this was one of the questions that I think has come up, was the consumables that are in there, anything that would be perishable or moisture, get too hot? I'm assuming during a Christmas festival like that, things are probably moving pretty quickly.
They are, yeah. So we do have treats and stuff there, and we're always concerned about if it gets too hot. But for the most part, it doesn't. Around that time, it is a little bit cooler here, and it's not as humid. So we don't really worry too much about that. It's usually done at night too, so it's not like it's baking in the sun or anything like that. Yeah. So, and it's constantly moving. The inventory is constantly moving in that pod, so it doesn't sit there for very long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's basically like a lot of the grab and go type style products that we keep in there. Any of like the toys and accessories, things like that, obviously are just always in there. But other than that, like the consumables, we're restocking it on a daily basis.
Yeah. So, could you imagine yourself getting one of those to just pop up temporarily somewhere else in town? Or
some people have told us that. I don't know how well the city would like that, but
I would be semi-permanent. I can't imagine they're easy to.
Yeah.
They have to get some money out of it. So, but yeah, I mean, they do it for this holiday, and it's been amazing. There's other stores that go into that as well with us, and we've all kind of turned into the family because every year we all do it, and we enjoy it so much because it feels like Christmas to us. Yes, we're working, but it's so much fun, and we can't imagine not doing it every year.
Yeah. So you guys are in Tampa, this beautiful place, feeling like, oh, this is amazing. Whereas we have the same thing similar in Chicago called the Chris Kindle Market. Yeah. And it's outside also, and it's freezing. And I know that people like, you go by sometimes, those vendors are like mad. It's just so cold. So very different vibe here in Chicago than in Florida at Christmas time. But that's awesome. That's really cool. So what other ways have you gotten creative with your events or in community involvement that have helped drive business?
Yeah, so one thing too that we do a lot around here is a lot of the apartment complexes around here, they typically hold like some sort of like yappy hour or it's just Tampa in general is an extremely pet friendly city. Yeah, so
similar things happening too.
Yeah, so they typically will have grand openings for like their dog parks, or sometimes they'll like renovate their dog parks, add in different things. So they're always looking for like different pet vendors basically to go to these events. So we definitely try to do a lot of those. And it's Tampa, I feel like because we're in like an urban area, people are always moving in and out of the apartments. So we won't always have like a client that stays with us for possibly 5+ years, and it's because they're living in apartments. So they might be here for 6 months, a year, 2 years tops.
Mm-hmm.
So we're constantly having to market to those people, and by doing these like events at these apartment complexes, it definitely helps out a lot.
Yeah. And do you find that they're well attended? Because
They actually are, surprisingly.
The few I've done in Chicago, and they were years ago.
Involved, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and they usually they feed their residents well. Yeah. They definitely give them a lot to drink too. So.
They're well attended. So that's great. And now, have you actively gone out and found some of these, or do they just call you up?
It's gone both ways.
Okay.
We initially, when we started, it was more of a like reaching out to them. At this point, we've gotten busy enough where a lot of them know us, and they've actually, most of like the management companies, they kind of like talk to each other. So they
on multiple buildings. So
yeah, exactly.
multiple buildings. Mm-hmm. That's great. And again, that brings back into the connection piece. If you're nice to the managers and building managers, and if you bring a fun event, and if their residents enjoy having you, you're building that community of yours, and then that can spiral into these other locations too. So that's great. Yeah. Adrian's curious if you have an event team, or are you guys doing these after hours?
Us right here.
It varies. Sometimes it could be, it will almost always be either myself or Lisa with another employee. It's always two to event. But it's usually one of us will be there. Very rarely will it just be one of our staff members.
Yeah. I've sent both before where I've done. You really have to have, if you're going to have a team, Adrian, you really need, or anybody watching, right? You really have to find the right people who love approaching other people, talking to them, and are not going to be just sitting there waiting for people to come to them. You've got to find the event pros who we've all been to those street festivals where the person sampling out the handing out the samples and getting to know people. You need that kind of a person at your booth. Yeah. Okay, so Jennifer's curious, at the apartment type events, do you bring more items to sell or mostly just giveaway type items?
So we actually set up shop at all of these events. Yeah, and it does well. I mean, a lot of like grab and go stuff, your bully sticks, your no hides, things like that. People really enjoy just picking them up there.
Especially in that building, they live right there.
Yeah, so. They're going to this yappy hour. They're probably going to get a drink. They're probably going to get something to eat there. They're going to want to stay there and mingle, but their dog is kind of going crazy. So what do you give them? You give them something to keep busy. So we do a lot of that to do and to sell. So we do have things that we sample off. So like the food, little treats, things like that. So we make it fun for the animals as well. And they're always running to our table. I swear they know that it's their table because they run to the table. But yeah, we definitely set up shop at most of these places, unless we know it's going to be one of those things where it's just specifically marketing, but it's very rare that we don't bring at least a few things to sell.
Okay. And I would think too that it'd be important to market if you are going to bring a lot of stuff or like a little mini store to put that in the marketing and so that the residents bring their wallets and purses.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Okay. I want to also talk about your the tech. They called it in the article phone tech, owning the phone tech space. And I know that it says in here that you've taken like grooming appointments now are through like kind of can be done via text. And I'm sure, I don't know if you have other ways that you're using texting. I mean, I know even for myself, even though I still love to encourage clients to pick up the phone and call people, it's very rare that anyone actually like does pick up the phone when you call. Yeah. I mean, even your own family members, when you call them, like I literally, somebody made it like teased me about it. They were like, your voicemail is so obvious. Like, do not leave me a message. You can also text me because I'm not going to listen to your message. No. So, and that's just where everyone's going. It's an easy way to communicate.
Yeah. Yeah. so we started off using Google Voice. It's
Okay.
free, so we started using that, and we told all of our customers, if you ever need to text us, feel free to, it'll come to us, so
And
we
the Google Voice number comes to you like when you're directing your Google number to your phone,
Yeah.
and then so it'll come to you as like a text message. But when you respond back to it, it'll go. The customer's not getting your cell phone, right?
correct. They're not getting our cell phone number. It does shoot back the Google Voice number. So anybody that's looking for like a phone way to get free phone service,
That's it.
yeah. So we use a combination of different things to
Okay.
communicate with our customers. Google Voice, like I said, we're big on Instagram. We're big on Facebook. So DMs on Instagram, Facebook Messenger, and then just recently we got hooked up with NextPaw. So those guys are awesome over there.
Wait a second, wait. I said you mentioned it. I have them.
Yep.
Free advertisement.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, but yeah, so they have a messaging system as well that works very well. Yeah, so I mean, we're not really, we'll contact people through all sorts of different ways, whatever, because all your clientele, they have different methods on how they like to communicate with you, and you kind of have to adjust to that, so. I just know, like, at least, like, even with us, like, just like you said too, like, text is preferred now, is what it seems like. So, yeah, so we'll use that all the time. We do online booking. We could, if people want to book grooming appointments through text, that's perfectly fine as well too.
So explain that to us a little bit, because I did go onto your website and I saw that, it's like you can book an appointment and then they can pick the type of service that they want, but I didn't go through. I almost secretly did the process just so I could understand.
Yeah.
But so I could see that there were a variety of prices and times and what I needed. But what's the next step? Do they actually get to pick the time slot, or do you choose that later?
Yeah,
Okay.
they definitely do. So we actually use Square as the appointment scheduler. So that's what we use for our grooming customers. And Square actually makes it quite easy as well to set up your appointments. It's just they have their own web page essentially, and we just link it back to the website.
Yeah. So do you find that people book or that dogs are coming for too long or too short of a time?
We've gotten it down. Our grooming department has gotten it down pretty close where we could generally tell. And then if there's times where, it's like a large Labradoodle that obviously just takes a lot longer, we could adjust the times in our system. And it'll reflect on the website if somebody else were to go into it and try to book their appointments on there.
Okay. So you're using Square for the appointment. They finish the process. Square prompts them to enter their cell phone number and what to get, like text messaging that way. Is that what you mean by they can book through text?
Exactly.
Okay. So
Exactly.
Confirmation and
yeah, they will end up sending confirmations and reminders the day prior as well. So it's just kind of a nice way to make sure that your customers are on top of it and they don't forget that they have an appointment scheduled for grooming.
Yeah. And a lot of the software too, the newer software that's out there that's been made also allows for the text reminders and email reminders, where some of the old, for those of us who have been doing services, whether it's daycare or grooming for a long time, a lot of the software that was around in the beginning doesn't have that anymore. So if you're somebody who doesn't have the texting and email reminders, it may be time to consider switching to a new software for that.
Yeah.
Then, so for Square, do you also then use that for your event, obviously for your events? And do you use it as your point of sale inside the store too? Or do you have a different software for that?
So we use Square for our pop-up events and grooming. But as far as in-store, we actually we use Lightspeed. It's been pretty good for us so far. But yeah, those are, that's grooming is basically separated business-wise from the actual retail side of the store. So,
All right. Now you mentioned Instagram and Facebook, and so I want to touch more on how it is that you're getting creative and how you come up with content for your Instagram. I think you've had success with doing stories too.
Yeah, that I'll leave that to her.
I mainly do it, but he actually really started it and was really good at it, and we're very competitive. So I'm like, well, I want to do what you're doing. So I've kind of taken it over. But I mean, being light and airy and fun, your audience you want to obviously like be exciting, and you want them to see your story. So you have to make it fun. Don't make it boring. It's got to be really fun, whatever you're trying to achieve. So for us, we're always trying to achieve getting more education out there and educating our customers. So showing them how a toy works, in a specific way, or showing them what this specific food can do to help alleviate certain things and things like that. But mainly a lot of it is keeping it fun. We've actually even had, so just out of pure luck, we just happened to be at the right place at the right time. And last year, we were at another event that we were doing for a charity. And I had recorded a video. It was a dog costume contest, and there was an elephant. It was a little schnauzer dressed in an elephant.
Oh, I remember this one. Yes.
Yeah, the wind up.
Yeah, and it went viral. It went crazy viral, and we weren't expecting it, but it did, and I love that so much. It's so funny, but it's stuff like that. People love watching that stuff, and you never know when you're gonna
You never know. Because I remember, I remember over in our Facebook group, you posted, you were like, I just filmed this and it's going viral. I have to share it with you guys. And it was. I think all of us reshared it too. It was pretty wild. I was pulling up on my phone your Instagram and looking at it right now. I love how you've got your highlights and your little icons for your highlights. Mm-hmm. And then in your stories, you said how you make it fun. So I want to know more. Like, what do you mean? Like, just make it fun. So, and give us an example of how you would make something more interesting. Well, like here, look at this. Well, look at this. I've already looked at this one here, right? Put it up here. See if I can put it up close. You've got, hang on, there it goes. You've got a behind the scenes shot of you guys coming on tonight.
Yeah. Stuff like that. Everybody, I feel like, even with me, I love watching episodes of stuff. I get stuck on stuff that I normally would be like, who would watch that? But it's because it's interesting. It's something that keeps you just entertained. And that's kind of where I go with it too. You want to always keep your audience entertained. And you'll notice the more and more that you do, the more and more that more people will actually start watching it constantly. And that's what you want. You want them to constantly watch you and see what you're doing and do all that stuff. So you have to keep it entertaining. If you keep it boring, they might watch it once or twice and then kind of not really go with it. So
the people really want to see it's social media. So social media obviously is, they want to know about you, so it's not always obviously for business social media accounts, it's typically here's a product, here's what, here's this or that, but it's more about how you're showcasing things or just talking about it. They kind of want to get to know you as a person. And then, that's kind of how it gets them intrigued. And, a lot of our customers actually, they'll reply to our stories, they're interacting with you, which is exactly what you want.
The stories are a way. So, your grid is the branding piece of it, right? That's where you can showcase, your colors and the types of things that you sell and the aesthetic you want to give off and the feeling you want to give off, right? But then in your stories is where you can add your personality, show the behind the scenes. And to your point, get more creative.
You don't want to make it feel like you're selling them something. You always want to make it feel like you are entertaining them or you are trying to educate them on how you should use the product or something like that. So that's where we kind of go with social media.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love it. Have you been able to sell directly through Instagram and social media though? I know some brands have a lot of success with that. Have you guys used it for that yet?
We do have it as far as listing it, products for sale on through it.
Yeah, sometimes like I've seen what I see this a lot in like women's boutiques is that they'll take a picture of an item and then they'll use it and then they'll say, we've got this many left, comment if
Yeah.
you want one. And the first, and then they start corresponding via DMs based on the comments that happened on the post. So I didn't know if you've done anything like that.
I wouldn't say like directly, but we have had some people where, they'll come in like a day or two after us posting something about it on either either the stories or the actual post itself, and be like, "Hey, I saw you talking about bone broth, for instance. Like I never knew about it, but they're like, I want to give it a try though after you talked about it." So they come in and they pick it up. So I wouldn't say it like directly makes a sale, but there's a decent amount of people that have like got them intrigued by it. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything as we wrap up tonight, you guys, those of you that are watching live, if you have questions, please feel free to add them into the chat. But and while we wait for that to see if anything comes up, I'm curious. Now that you've had your business, the brick and mortar, the bigger store for a year, is there anything that's been surprising to you since you've gone full steam ahead?
Just how fast we've grown. That's the biggest thing that has surprised me personally. I never in a million years imagined how big we would actually be at this point. I'm so very thankful to, honestly, my staff too. They're amazing. But my customers too are just as amazing as my staff is. I mean, it has been great. It's been an adventure. We've gone through our ups and downs as any business would, but we've learned to figure out a way and to make it happen, and so grateful and humbled for it. So you?
Yeah. I definitely, I would definitely say that I'm surprised at how much traction we've gotten for being such a new business. So it surprises me how much our customers have the word of mouth, the referrals and whatnot. It just blows my mind how many people, put that out there. So, I mean, I'm definitely happy that obviously we're doing something right where we have our customers talking about us.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'd love. What do you think it is? I mean, what do you think it is why are they talking about you? Like, why have you been so successful? I know people watching who are struggling.
I honestly think,
what is it they're doing?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is the community outreach. It's building a relationship with your customers, because they're not just coming in the door to buy a product from you. You want to be able to gain their trust and really honestly build a relationship with them, know their family, know their pets, know how they're doing, always ask them how they're doing, constantly checking up on them, and doing all that stuff. That's been, I feel like a lot of people don't, I don't think a lot of even businesses in general do that. Mm-hmm. And it's really to your advantage to do something like that and genuinely care for your customers and your staff and all of that. Your employees are big too, treating them well. They are your brand. They are the face when you're not here. So you want to make sure that they are happy and they are treating your customers as much as you would be treating them.
Yeah, we're very personable people. So I think when customers come in the door, just that feeling that it's not just about us trying to make a sale, because it's to us, it's really not. To be honest, we didn't really get into this business to make a fortune. It's just not what we did it for. It's more of us trying to help educate other pet owners that might have ran into health issues with their pets. So it's just, I think because of that reason, I think people are like, they don't feel as if they're always trying to be sold something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We've got a couple questions about the products. So it sounds like Rob's curious how you select your food line. So since nutrition is so important to you, do you have requirements about the food that you're going to carry?
Yeah, we're pretty strict about that. And I'm very strict about that. Obviously, I have to make sure that it is as natural as it possibly can be. Obviously, with vitamins and minerals and stuff. For kibble wise, obviously it's going to be there. And kibble isn't the way that we usually direct our customers. We always bring up the raw factor, or at least the gently cooked, or at least adding fresh food into the diet. But as far as strict guidelines, I definitely do strict guidelines. They cannot have any byproducts, things like that. We do have stuff that has grains. We've always had it, even before the whole DCM thing came out. I'm a firm believer that you should, as long as your dog isn't allergic to things, you should definitely change up and have a rotation, a variety of certain things, because we don't eat the same thing ourselves. We never do. There's certain nutrients in every single ingredient that you have. So adding that into the diet and getting all of those nutrients in the animal as much as you can is the best way that you could probably do it. So we train our customers to do that. As far as picking out the food,
we're big with ingredient panel, and then not only ingredient panel but also sourcing.
Sourcing's huge.
We want to make sure that these companies are reputable. What's the quality of the ingredient as well too, because chicken is not always chicken, or beef is not always beef. It's you have 4D meats and whatnot, and obviously human grade. So we're very, very particular about that kind of thing.
We go to Super Zoo and Global and drill these customers.
The sales reps, because I've heard this too, that sometimes the sales reps can't answer your questions. They say one thing, but then reality. So do you guys keep digging deeper? And
yes,
we do.
And that keeps me really leery of it too. If a company isn't willing, or if their rep doesn't know what is really in their food or where they're sourcing their ingredients from, that's a big concern to me. And I kind of throw that in the back of my mind, and I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah, and we'll talk to multiple reps and so forth, because one person might know what we want to hear, but then you talk to somebody else and it's a different story. So it's well, which one was it? So we won't really just bring in a line just because it sells well or anything like that. A majority of the brands that we carry, they're definitely more obscure brands that you can't just find anywhere. And then also, of course, there's brands that started off in our criteria, but then slowly, the companies change. These companies, they sometimes get larger and larger, or
they get bought out, and we have to, in that chance, see if it's even up to our standards anymore. And if it isn't, we let our customers know. We keep it very real with our customers, and we'll tell them, this is why we're getting rid of it, why we're discontinuing it at that point. And for the most part, a lot of our customers just trust us, and they are like, absolutely, thank you so much for letting us know. And what would you suggest as an alternative to this food?
Yeah, I mean, we've dropped brands before. We've lost, thousands in inventory just because we just felt that the food or whatever the product is no longer what we stand for. So we'll just pull it off the shelf, and it is what it is. But if we're not willing to use it on our pets, we don't feel good about selling it to any of our customers.
Yeah. And have you lost customers because of that?
It's happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some customers are just set in their ways, which, I mean, we get it. It's everybody's entitled to, their opinion, and the thing is, there's plenty of times that we try to do whatever it takes to make it right, and sometimes, they're stuck on a certain food, which, it is what it is. Unfortunately, you can't please everybody, but we definitely try to.
Right. Well, Shauna has a question here, and she wants to know that if a client is trying to find a product that they can't get at the bigger pet stores, and they maybe are aware of it and you don't sell it, how can you help them find these? I'm assuming through special order. Mm-hmm. And I know for in our area, it would have been if our distributor, if we could even get it, we'd be happy to order it. But what's your guys' philosophy?
Yeah, so obviously room is always an issue. There's plenty of great products out there on the market that we would love to carry. However, we're just allotted a certain amount of space here. But if there's something that we could get, we always actually encourage though our customers, hey, if there's something that like catches their eye, just ask us about it because there's been plenty of times where especially in like the raw food industry where some customers are like, this sounds like a great product. What do you think about it? I know you don't carry it, and I'm totally open to talking about it. And if it's something that I could get for them, we have no issues special ordering things for them. We actually do it quite a bit, and like I said, it just bottom line comes down to not having enough space. Unfortunately, like every store struggles with that. On not having enough space. Try to do what we can on selecting, the better products to have in store. We work with a number of distributors, and we get, multiple shipments a week. So typically, we're able to get it fairly quickly.
Okay. So I would love to wrap it up by asking you if you have a favorite book, a podcast, a quote you want to share with us here. I always love hearing what our cool stores have in their, toolbox, their entrepreneurial toolbox that they can share with us.
Oh, what's the book? I am reading a book and now I can't even remember what the book's name is. It's with the guy from Shark Tank. I forgot his name already too. I can't even remember. I'm drawing a blank.
Honestly, to me, I wouldn't really say that there's like one specific quote that I always look at, or think about. Bottom line, it's just be a good person, work hard, you'll get to where you want to be in life. That's just kind of how I look at it.
Do you have parents who have their own business?
I did grow up, so we joke about this actually because so I'm Thai, and I feel like the Asian culture is typically, you put your kids to work, since they're little. So growing up, my parents had a gas station and an automobile repair shop, which is my automobile history. And then also a restaurant as well. So I've been working, honestly, probably since I was like 5 years old. I mean,
around a lot of small businesses.
Not even thinking about that. So yeah. So that's my work ethic. I just keep hustling. Keep pushing. So
yeah, I have a T-shirt that says "Work hard, be nice."
Yeah.
Like I wear it when I work out. Everyone, they stop me all the time. Like, I love that. I'm like, yeah, it's good to work smarter, not harder, but you still have to work hard. Yeah. And it's really important to always remember to be nice.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I agree with you on that. Yeah. Well, Ben and Lisa, thank you so much for being on tonight's show and for even applying for America's Coolest Store, the contest that Pets Plus puts on every year. Because you took the time to apply for the award, you were an honorable mention and got to get featured in their October issue of the magazine. I don't think I showed it earlier, but let me pull it up here, the whole little spread. And if you want to learn, there's their front door. I love it. And I love the inside. It's you guys did a beautiful job with the store. Check out more about the Modern Paws. Definitely find them on Instagram and on Facebook. And I just want to thank you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight for the viewers and for you guys
for having us.
Yeah, and everyone have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye-bye. Bye.